John.
Alright, welcome to episode 2 of this park build. After last episode where we built the entrance section, I did a little bit of work between episodes, but this time we're going to build our hotel section. I'll show you what I built here real quick. This little security check where you have to go through these double gates into this area where we're going to build next. I got a suggestion to use the Tapejara and the Aviary, and I ended up not using Tapejara, but I did like the idea of putting an aviary in the hotel section, which I did because we needed a species for this episode. And this is actually quite a long episode because the build turned out a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be like a 15-minute episode, but the total build was originally 2.5 hours, and I made it into a 30-minute speed build as compared to my normal length videos. I'm repeating myself now. Let's go ahead and start building. So I started with this firewall where there's going to be an opportunity for the guests to look into an exhibit that's going to be over there that we're going to build next episode. I'm thinking of putting a medium carnivore in there. I'm not really sure, though. If you have any suggestions for a medium carnivore, tell me if you have any cool ideas for the exhibit. I might do it. And so, yeah, I'm just going ahead and starting with some amenities. Before I get into this build too much, I want to tell you, hotel sections are kind of my weakness. I can't do a hotel hill every time, and that's the only thing I can do good with hotel sections. So they turn out, they're not the best because the hotels are such weird shaped buildings, and I always end up with so much space between them. And I always feel like hotel sections should be big and have lots of buildings in them because that's like the guest hub, and they just end up not very good when I build them. So I ended up with something kind of substandard. I had a really cool idea for the cinema here. So the back of those guest attractions actually have little windows, and it's just taller than the fence. So I thought it'd be cool that you can go in there and like watch dinosaur documentaries, but then the screen could like roll up and you could look into the actual exhibit and see the dinosaurs. I wasn't sure what type of hotel to use. What I ended up doing was actually using a couple of different types of hotels in different sections, as you'll see. A lot of Jurassic World hotels because they look like they can hold the most guests. And this isn't a huge park as far as number of people here, or just the build, because this is not going to be an enormous build because I want to actually finish it for once and not have it crash. So, yeah, it's not an enormous park, so we don't need 10 hotels, because I always, whenever I'm building, I've literally counted the number of potential rooms, even if the hotels go underground. There's just never enough to keep like 10,000 people because we don't have the hotels from the Jurassic World movie that can actually keep anybody. Which, you know, it's not like a big issue, but that's a good point for building these smaller parks. So here I'm just doing a little bit of path work in front of these amenities. I'm not going too in-depth with the path work because I'm not very good at path work. There's a lot of clipping, especially on console. And so I wanted to do just some sort of design here, though. Of course, we're continuing with the theme of just palm trees everywhere, which is what we did last episode, because this is like an island paradise where we have this volcanic islands with less jungle. Now, next episode, though, we are going to have a lot of jungle, and there's a little section in here where we do have something for more rainforest areas. Here I'm placing down the first hotel. I originally faced it this way and tried to do a second one, but I wanted to do a beach back here with the Malta hotels, and there wasn't really room to put a second one. So I tried to place that down, but I get rid of it here in just seconds because there wasn't really a nice way to do the path, and it didn't look very good. So yeah, here you can see I replaced that with a Malta hotel. And I tried to put one over here because the angle fit, but I decided not to do this because I wanted it to have 3 clear sections. You have your beach section over here with Malta hotels. You have it in the center with the Jurassic World hotels and more amenities and stuff. And then over on the other side, we have an area with Jurassic Park hotels. That's more forested and leads with a path into the rest of the park. There are 2 paths into the rest of the park, though. There's a secondary one that we built last episode. So, yeah, this is where I'm putting the aviary. I'm going to first I'm going to place this Hyperloop entrance because we're going to have those viewing towers. I'm going to cut out this because I was trying to get it even around. But anyway, we were going to have those research outposts throughout, and it made sense to me that the guests can access that from the hotel. So what you could do, you just get up from your hotel, go to that building, and you can take a little tour throughout most of the exhibits of the park through the Hyperloop. So anyway, I cut out some of trying to place the aviary there because I tried to sink it into the grounds, and I wasn't able to get it just right at first. The downside of that is that it can then pretty much only be viewed by path because other attractions will snap to the base of the aviary, which does weird stuff with the terrain. I decided to go with the smaller hotels since we already have our main hotels. These can be a little bit higher, more luxury end kind of hotels because these only have a few rooms each. But I'm using the Jurassic Park Control Center here instead of the Visitor Center because the Visitor Center, it's a really cool building, but it's the Jurassic Park Visitor Center, so I try to not use it as much because then it's not my park. It doesn't feel like it. I mean, I guess I don't know why that bothers me, but like the Ford Explorers don't. But I don't know. That's just something I generally prefer that building, unless it's a specific callback to Jurassic Park. Now, something I did want to do, there was actually an attraction I can put in this aviary, and that's the viewing domes, because it doesn't have to sink down, because it doesn't have to attach to the outside of the aviary. So yeah, here's the tour I'm placing, which we're going to build with next episode. We're going to have the tour track loop all the way through this right side of the island where the canyon is. I don't know what species we're going to put there, but there's going to be a lot of species, probably a few different enclosures. More dense jungle, maybe we could put our raptors there. I was trying out a few different things with the aviary because I wasn't really sure yet what I wanted to do. I came back to that later though. Just placing some amenities to fill in the room because I don't want to do too much path because like I said, I'm not very good with path. So I placed another Jurassic World hotel there. So yeah, I think this is where I start working on the beach. Oh no, not yet. I finally started decorating some with the first entrance. I don't know why I use the super thin path. I guess it doesn't make sense since that's where all the guests are coming through when they arrive. But it doesn't really matter that much. It's really... I guess I did that because of the gate that was there that I placed on the path that you can't really change anymore. I do see that that's uneven. I fix it in just seconds. I left room for lots of little areas to put rocks and trees to... because no path left on lines, and, you know, didn't want to use too much path. I'm worried I am using too many individually placeable trees, though, because, you know, frame rate. I don't have a frame rate counter, but... yeah, so here I noticed these weren't even, and I had to replace them. I always forget that we have the move tool. I've been better at using it recently, though. I was going to do a little dirt road to the beach, but I eventually just switched that to sands. Okay, I was just doing a think. Okay, so yeah, here I am back to decorating. I'm putting down a few trees, some grass, and rocks. Lots of rocks, just rocks everywhere. Here I tried to use the tree brush, but it didn't work super well, and I ended up just having to do more individually placeables. Now that was some words. Yeah. Anyway, on console too, you have to press the down button on the little plus thing. I don't know what it's supposed to be called. To get to each individual tree, and we have so many trees to find like the specific tree I want is really hard, especially since I use so many palm trees. They're in the desert, Mediterranean, and tropical biome, so I don't get to stay in pretty much just one section, which is really frustrating to build when you're building this whole area, especially a park like this that's a lot of trees. Because, you know, you gotta find that balance between the industrial and the natural, which is exactly the whole thing about parks. And they're a different mix. Jurassic Park was mostly jungle. You got your paths in between, and the buildings that their bones are concrete, but they're decorated to look like a facade of nature, which is kind of the whole point. But anyway, I'm just working on this hotel here using our Jurassic Park walls. About to sneeze. It's really random. Anyway, this leads to the multi-section. I didn't really know what to do here, so I decided to leave a view with the fence, which wasn't lined up, and then I had to redo that whole thing. And then the path goes through here. What am I saying? What was I talking about? Jurassic Park, yeah. I keep losing my train of thought, which is fine, because I'm already 10 minutes into this video, which is way longer than my average view duration, which needs to be fixed, because it's really an issue. But, yeah, so, while I decorate, Jurassic World is a lot more, you have that tight-packed industrial area. Industrial is not the right word, but you know what I mean. It's buildings. It's not nature. And it's a lot more modern in that way. And you have to find the right balance for your parks, because when you just have buildings everywhere, one, that's bad for the frame rate, and two, it doesn't look very good, and it's hard to keep things lined up. You cannot actually create order. There's always going to be some chaos, and that little tiny effect creates this whole ripple through the whole thing. It's a butterfly effect, and it applies to your parks, because when you build something and path is 1 degree off on the angle, or the building's not perfectly aligned, it goes through the whole park, and if you just have buildings everywhere, it doesn't work. If you just have nature everywhere, I think that doesn't look very good, and it's kind of lazy building. When you just have trees, trees, trees. Oh, look, there's a building. That's more trees. So, yeah, you have to find that balance that suits your style best. Anyways, now that I'm done with that little rant. I used a lot of benches and trash cans in this park, because I think, yeah, this is the first park I've started since that update. I've worked on other parks, but started one because I've been not building for like a month and a half until I started this park. Before this park, the last build I did was early December. So, okay, more like, not that long ago, but feels like a while. I was going to place a tower there, because I think it looked cool, but there wasn't actually a reason to have it there, so I got rid of it. I did cut out some of the path work in this episode because it was already so long, and I'm not good at path. Have I already said that while I'm narrating? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm not good at path, so I don't think you guys wanted to sit through several minutes of me having to redo the same path over and over again. But anyway, there I placed down some rocks. I really like using the rocks decoration. I'm doing that a lot more now. You can see that in some of my other series, like the World Park build series I did last summer, which I actually kind of still like that part, and I kind of don't. But it was fun to build. You can see I use those planters just for spacing. What was I saying? Yeah. I like using the rocks. They look really good as decoration to line paths when you feel like you're using the same things over and over again. Just switch back to that. At this point in the build, I was really appreciating how much stuff we have in the game at this point. But also, it's still quite limited. But you have to have some limit. As I was expanding this cliff, I decided to expose some of the base of the aviary, which I changed a little bit, because I didn't like it. So yeah, I'm trying not to use the fluffy bush too much, because I want to keep that more island paradise tropical feel, and it kind of disrupts that, but there's a few places I still had to use it. Again, just more gardens. It's always more. But there's a stupidity barrier for your guests. I didn't take that from Evolution Square. I actually been doing that longer. Can't prove that though. But anyway. Wow, 14 minutes into this video already. I wonder how many people are still watching. Probably like just Mr. Loophole, Jurassic Song. You guys are great. Anyway, the beach section here. I wanted this little cape with a lot of rocks, but I also wanted to keep a lot of sand, so I was having a hard time deciding there, so I decided to come back to it. I tried to use the walls here, but you can see that spacing didn't quite work out, so I had to do something different, which I actually didn't end up liking as much, but it's fine. Oh, these benches, they're so hard to keep in a straight line. Those really thin ones, those like park benches, which I actually have some cool ideas for how to use those. But anyways, yeah, I'm just filling in some gaps here with more trees. I'm going to use some multiple wall pieces here to keep guests from walking off into the cliffs and the dinosaur exhibits. And this is going to go all the way out to where I'm going to place a bajillion rocks, and I'm going to speed it up even more from the 500% speed it was already at to like 800% speed. So, because this was like literally almost 10 minutes placing rocks here. So it's sped up a lot. So I did this little, I don't remember what it's called, where you have the rocks that keep the big waves away, so you can like dock boats and stuff. I put that around the beach to keep that vast ocean that goes off into the horizon from flooding the hotels. But anyways, yeah. More rocks. More rocks. I think I even cut out some. And anyway, now we're doing the beach. I wanted to add a little bit of terrain difference, but not too much. I am using our new seats that we have, because that's why I was building this, doing those little rows with the umbrellas that are ridiculously expensive, and you have to stay at the nice resort to use those. Yeah, and even when there's nobody sitting in one, you can't even sit near them, or they come like chase you away in your golf carts. Anyway, I'm putting the garbage cans over here that are always really far away when you eat a snack at the beach and you have to walk all the way across the sand that's 200 degrees. Yeah, really fun times for our guests. Anyways, I'm just placing path here. I don't know why I need to say that. It's clearly what I'm doing. So you can look into this exhibit. I feel like I have to narrate really fast because I sped this up before I narrate, and I do voiceover afterwards. But anyway, I went ahead to do the aviary. I wanted to put water here in the end. I actually had to take the water out because the only way to view the aviary without disrupting the terrain was the viewing dome, which is unfortunate to have to take the water out because now our Slings Riptricks are going to not dehydrate because they don't need water. I do want to have another aviary in the park because I really want to use Barbaridactylus because I think it fits the theme, but also it's my favorite pterosaur in the game. But I don't, as I'm planning the park, I don't want to because this island is not huge, and not, depending on how long next episode is, either episode 4 or 5. Because the next episode, I don't know if I'm going to split into 2 parts yet. Based on how long this episode was, I probably will. But, yeah, the build after that is going to be really cool. And I'm going to struggle with the path tool for, like, 30 minutes. But anyway, yeah, there we have our Slings Riptricks. I'm just taking a screenshot for the thumbnail. You can see what it looks like from the viewing dome that I'm going to place later. I realized I moved this around in the video. But yeah, I like the look of the smaller pterosaur in this aviary. That was a good suggestion, Mr. Loophole. I think it was you, right, that suggested the aviary. But anyway. Yeah, that looked pretty good, even though I didn't use Tapejara. Because I'm not actually a huge fan of the Tapejara in this game. I was going to try to put the tour through, but for some reason I forgot how the game works. Here, I cut this out, but I spent like so long waiting for them to move out of the way for me to place the viewing dome. So here I'm just finishing this section. For once, I actually didn't do a bunch of individually placeable palm trees. I don't know why... Oh, I did, okay. I did put a little bit of a stupidity barrier there, but not too much, because this is an electric fence. Although I still should have put concrete barriers, because that's going to be a medium carnivore enclosure. If you have any cool ideas for the exhibit with a medium carnivore, tell me what it is. I'm not going to do the Indoraptor, so don't even suggest it. I don't think we're going to have any hybrids in this park, but if we do, it's going to be the Indominus. So yeah, here I didn't really know what to do, so whenever I don't know what to do, I do this exact same thing with Path, this 3-circle thing that you can actually see on 2 different parks on this channel. I think I did this in World Park near the very beginning. And also near in my 5 best parks tour that's really outdated because those parks actually aren't very good. One of them has this design. Gosh, after been recording for like 25 minutes and already my throat's really dry. So anyway, I just did this path trying to create the most clipping possible. Here's where I cut out some stuff. But I just did some kind of abstract decoration with this. It's supposed to just look pretty for the guests, but they can also sit here. So I'm putting down some benches. Mr. DNA had to put the log somewhere. Oh, and I said we were going to use a glitch in every build. I guess we didn't in this one, unless you count sinking down the aviary. Oh well. We're this far into the park, and I have yet to use my overlapping fence glitch, which I'll link that video in the description, because that's kind of like my glitch that I found that I really like using. And I've never seen anybody else using it. The glitch to overlap fences. I have a 2-minute video on that, as I already just said. So anyway, there I skipped probably like 10 minutes of path work. I'm going to finish up this decoration. I'm going to talk a little less fast-paced, because my throat hurts at this point. And I want to record this all in one take, because I record almost all my videos all in one take. Because that's just more fun, it feels more authentic. So anyway, just another garden. I did some little seating here like you'd see at Disney, just those little off-to-the-side seating sections without going too over the top with it, because I didn't have much space. No path left unlined. Yeah, concrete barriers actually look pretty cool. They just take a really long time to place. Just another garden. Rocks. Palm trees. I didn't really know what to do here, so rocks, palm trees. I'm very excited to hear what you guys think of this build. Tell me any ideas you have specifically for that exhibit, or just something to put in the park, because there's a couple empty sections that I haven't planned for yet. Just finishing this up with some lights. You gotta make sure, especially these guest areas, are really well decorated. Sorry, well lit. Of course well decorated, but well lit, because they need to be able to see as they walk around at night. As they come back from the day in the park, you know, the sun might already be set. Sorry. Palm trees. Rocks. That's pretty much 30 minutes of this. In the end, I think this is the best hotel section I've built. If you want to see some other hotel sections that I've built, there's 2 on the channel, one in the first episode of my Jurassic Park mini park that I built for JP30, and one in World Park. Both are really bad. This one's better than both, but still, in the overview, I don't like it, and it looks really crowded and awkward when I view it on the ground. But it's not that bad. So here, I'm just moving on to the JP section. This restroom back here. That's been a while since I placed one. I need a little building. If you're thinking I build this really fast and just come up with this, remember this is 500% speed. So we're almost done with the build now. Dividing that, filling in with a fountain right here. Had to put something, so just putting some lights. This Jurassic Park section is a little more forested, so I was able to leave the path a little less blank, but not unlined. Just wanted to put a little something here. This section didn't take long. To be honest, I'm really happy with this build. I think it's going to be probably one of my best parks if it is completed. Which I'm not going to give up on the park, but I'm just worried about crashing eventually. If this park crashes, I don't know what I'm going to do with builds, because like this is not a huge build. and I can't build lower quality, because then it feels like I'm not trying to do the park, and then I'm not properly enjoying the game. So, yeah, if this crashes, I don't really know what I'm gonna do, as far as park builds. Just filling that in with some fluffy bushes. Since you can't see them too much, I think it's fine. Just filling that weird space. Putting some trees here, but I didn't want to put anything too tall because I didn't want to obstruct the guest view, which is why palm trees are great. So anyways, I'm just putting this fence on the Jurassic Park tour. Our Ford Explorers that we're going to build probably next episode. Maybe the episode after that, depends. So yeah, I wanted to use some curved path, sort of just, I didn't want to fill in, because I wanted to leave room for trees, so I was just sort of curving it through here. I think it looks alright from ground view. This section probably looks the best from ground view. The Jurassic, the tropical trees are really lacking a fluffy tree, a mid-height that fills in the space. You know, because when you use the tree brush, it does that. It's very solid tree brush, but you can't individually place because you just have palm trees and then the one really tall tree. So it doesn't really work super well. I left some room behind the control center for some facility and storage stuff. But the control center I also used, as I said, because I like the building, but also because it has a path on the other side which lets guests walk through the building to the other side and we can act like it's a museum. Maybe there's also some hotel rooms in there. That would be a pretty cool hotel. Ooh, you know what, actually? That's where, like, the breakfast is in the hotel, and the people at these little Jurassic Park hotels, because those are just rooms, they get up, they go to the control center, they get their breakfast, then you can also, maybe we have, like, a tour program, like a handheld radio that you carry through, that you have to walk through, like, a checkpoint at the entrance and exit of the hotel section, but you can take that out with you into the park. That'd be really expensive and guests would lose it, but it's a cool idea. I kind of like it. I'm sticking with that. Or I just came up with that now. So yeah, just palm trees, rocks. Palm trees, rocks. Decorations, planters. Path. I don't know why that took 30 minutes, but I said it again. So I guess this is probably my longest park build episode I've done. And one of my longest regular length videos, aside from like playthroughs, of course. Speaking of playthroughs, stay tuned for 2 weeks from now? 1 week? I don't know what today is. Putting some cages, because this is near the tour. I like to think that this is where, if something went wrong, they'd transport the dinosaurs from there. We are going to have a staff center somewhere on the island, but I'm not sure where. Like a proper staff area. So yeah, let's go ahead and tour what we built. This is the entrance to the security checkpoint. With our... So they say it's an Alamosaurus skeleton, and that's what it is in the movie. And this looks like the movie, but it doesn't look like an Alamosaurus at all. But anyway, you have to go through that. To open this gate, you have to have your card that you get from that security bunker. So you can't get in unless you have a card that shows that you have a hotel room. Which I guess, like, when you book a room, they send you a QR code or something that the guy scans and then gives you a card. Let's look at the views from these beautiful hotel buildings. They're really nice hotels, the Malta ones. They just, because of the style of the building, I can use them less often. I've only built, I think, one full park, using only Malta buildings. But it was actually a decent park. Looking back on it, of course, my park building's improved, but it's pretty good. I kind of like it. I think there's a tour of it on the channel. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's where our tour is going to be. That's going to be a jungle. Here's our beach. I think it looks pretty nice. It's kind of small, but I didn't want to have too much sand. Because then Anakin would never visit our park. So yeah, there we go. I'm just going to zoom back over here. That's going to also look out into the tour. You can also look from over there. This would just be a peaceful area to sort of stroll through. Your guest hub. It actually looks okay now that I'm looking at it now. I didn't like it when I finished building it. But I don't mind it. I don't mind it too much now. You got a nice view of your aviary from this hotel, though. And you would say the bars get in the way, but in the game you don't get, I don't know what the word is for how you focus your vision on what's in the distance versus close range. There's a word for that I'm blanking on right now. But you know what I mean. For the two of you who are still here, probably. Tell me what you think I should put in this exhibit if you have like a specific idea, but I do want to do a medium carnivore. And I'm not doing the Indoraptor. Not doing it. And yeah, so here's the entrance to our Jurassic Park section. I really like this area the most from ground, I think. Yeah, it looks pretty good, if I say so myself. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. There will be another episode, probably not next week, maybe the following week. I don't really know. There's been a lot of videos recently because I've been snowed in. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Roll the outro. Play the outro.